Hello and welcome back. It is 4 minutes past 3 and you are listening to Eye on Education on A-Level Results Day.
This is Eye on Education on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Sponsored by Repton School Dubai. Outstanding British education for ages 3 to 18, where students go into the world not just ready, but Repton ready.
Now, it is our first Eye on Education show of the new academic year, and it is, of course, the day that thousands of young people across the UAE have been waiting what must have felt a fairly interminable few weeks for. This morning at 11 a.m, A-level results were released, with the UK already reporting that a record number of first preference placements were made at its universities today. Now, here in the UAE, a number of schools are reporting similarly positive trends, including Horizon International School, where the year group is celebrating an impressive 100% pass rate, with 54% of students receiving A star to B grades. I am joined in studio right now by the school's assistant principal, Zareef Petkar. And Zareef, first off, congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me to be here. It's a privilege to be here. But a great set of results for our students. We are immensely proud of their academic success and the journey that they've been on. It's been a great success story for the school, but an even better success story for those students. It's been brilliant.
And I mean, I was just learning from my colleagues this morning, because my son's still too young. We've not been through this process, and the last time I went through it, you got an envelope through the post. So I gather that a lot of students come into school, that they receive their results inside the school with their friends, and I wonder, what's the environment like when that is going on?
That process can be slightly different here, with students travelling, visiting their families back in their home nations. So many students actually receive their results via email and electronically, but that doesn't take away from the atmosphere once those results have been absorbed by those students. The feeling that you get from their responses when they're contacting you about their success stories, it doesn't change that atmosphere. It's still very tangible, and you can feel it.
So, I mean, leading up to today, before this morning's results, what sort of emotions and challenges are the students typically facing? Because I remember that period between exams and getting your results as just feeling like it lasted a decade. Absolutely.
That is a daunting experience for those students, especially the run up to and the night before. There's a mixture of emotions. It's an emotional roller coaster. There's levels of excitement. There's levels of anxiety. There's levels of worry. There's levels of what if. But it's just about those students being able to take their time, absorb their results, and being able to celebrate their successes, and then look forward to the next step.
And I mean, I always think the challenge with exams is that all of us through our lives, as adults as well as kids, we have good days, we have bad days, we have days where we feel that we are more efficient, we have days where we feel like we're maybe not as efficient, or we're maybe not just feeling our best. And I wonder, how do you prepare young people for exams, get them ready for that process, for this huge moment where they're trying to demonstrate what they've learned over the course of years and years and years, while also maintaining that kind of sense of perspective that this one day is not necessarily going to make or break everything for them?
Absolutely, and it comes down to that regulation of themselves, but also how we support that process as well. There's an expectation on themselves that weighs a lot. That's a very heavy moment for them, and that comes from themselves, but also could come from their family expectations as well. And the conversation starts at school and continues at home, and starts at home and continues at school. That partnership is very, very important. And it's about having those conversations with the students from their supportive parents and supportive school environments, that yes, this is an important milestone and the grades matter, but it's a part of their journey and it's a part of a wider picture as well. And just being able to talk them through that process, ask them how they were in those lessons, or ask them how they were in that environment, and not necessarily just only speaking about the end grade, having that wider discussion for them to be feeling at ease, for them to receive their results and then move forward in the direction that they want to.
And of course, with all of that said, you have had tremendous results today. Tell me a bit about the picture over there at Horizon International, because it sounds as though it's been a really, really positive day for you all.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, we were chuffed receiving those results, first and foremost for our students. And again, I'd just like to mention about how the students across the world who are receiving their A-level results again, huge congratulations to them. We had the fortunate results of receiving 54% A star to B, and also those students who have stayed with us for a long amount of time, 5 years or more, 50% of them also received 2 or more subjects A star to B as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And we pride ourselves at Horizon International School of being a value-added school. So across all of our subjects, we had an average value added of +1, which is absolutely immense, and we're incredibly proud of the students, but also incredibly proud of our staff who invested lots of time and effort being able to support those students through that process, and knowing the needs of each individual student to be able to get them to the successes that they've had today.
When you say value added and an overall score of +1, what does that mean in layman's terms for people who are not familiar with the concept?
So students would have received their GCSE results 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. From that, we can calculate what are they expected to achieve at A level if they were to continue with that subject, and then that is something that teachers not only work towards but also look to exceed as well, so we can add that value to that student. So not just meeting their potential, but exceeding their potential and expectations as well, which is fantastic for the students who have received their results today.
So a +1 then in that case is essentially if you've been told a sort of predicted grade at the end of GCSEs, a predicted grade would be a C and that child gets a B, then they've gone up in the sort of value added category.
In essence, yes. In essence, yes. Which is again amazing for our school and amazing for our students, because it shows the testament to our staff and teachers who have put that time and effort to understand the students' needs and take them beyond, but also it demonstrates the resilience and that growth of those students as well. And again, all those late nights, those long days, the times where they didn't want to continue, the times where they're thinking, can I do it, can I not do it? It's just been brilliant. And again, today is a celebration of all of that success. So congratulations to them.
And I mean, as you say, it is that idea of not just accepting this is sort of what's predicted for you, but actually sort of aiming past it, sort of shooting further past that line. And I wonder how you go about encouraging kids with that, especially if they're getting really good predicted grades as well, to always push them that bit further without pushing too hard.
It's about finding that balance of what are you expecting, what we know that you can achieve, but also having that motivation. And that comes from within, but that motivation can also be instilled in the environment around you. What are students doing when they necessarily don't have contact time with teachers in lessons? How are they best utilizing that time? And that comes from the culture and the environment that we create within the school as professionals, to be able to allow students to have that pedestal to not just meet their expectations but exceed as well on a daily, weekly, monthly, termly basis.
I want to get into the sort of realities of what comes next with you next, Zareef, because I think, there are kids who are going to be thrilled, who are moving on, there are kids who are maybe a bit disappointed. So I want to talk about how we support our kids, regardless of what the outcome is, and how we help them navigate the path that comes after today. But first, we're just going to take a little pause to take a quick look at the roads.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
With Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
How's it looking out there, Michael?
Hello. So still not too bad. It's still light to moderate in most areas in Dubai. But let me just note that in Al Ittihad Road, expect heavy traffic if you're heading towards Deira, especially near First Al Khail Street. Business Bay, I see also a congestion there, so allow extra time, especially if you're passing through Al Mustaqbal Street and the Burj Khalifa Boulevard. And if you're passing through also in Ras Al Khor Road, expect heavy traffic there. But elsewhere in Dubai, it seems pretty fine as of this moment. And in Sharjah, expect heavy traffic. The two notes I could see here are traffic along Mohaisna and the Sharjah industrial areas. If I miss anything, please let us know on 4001 only if it's safe to do so.
Thank you, Michael. And as Michael says, if you are going to let us know, please make sure that you are stopped and in a safe place before you message us on 4001.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
Zareef Petkar, Assistant Principal of Horizon International School, is staying with me. And up next, we're going to be getting into what next steps look like for those young people who've been getting their A-level results today. Stay tuned.
Dubai Eye 103.8 covers a wide spectrum.
From global issues to global achievements.
That is Thelma Houston, Don't Leave Me This Way.
This is Eye on Education on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Sponsored by Repton School Dubai. Outstanding British education for ages 3 to 18, where students go into the world not just ready, but Repton ready.
Hello and welcome back to Eye on Education and A-Level Results Day. Now, it has been a few hours since young people across the UAE and across the world, in fact, who were sitting A-Levels got the results. It was 11 a.m. UAE time today that those results came out, and here in the UAE, a number of schools are reporting incredibly positive trends in their results, including Horizon International School, which is where my current guest teaches. I'm joined in the studio by Zareef Petkar. He's the assistant principal there. And Zareef, you were saying just before the break there about kind of this process and getting kids ready for it. And I guess today is such a culmination of it all. First of all, let's do the sort of the good news part. For those kids who did get the results that they were looking for, what's the reality of today? You know, I would imagine some of them already knew where they were going, but for some, today is confirmation that they're going to be going to the universities that they were maybe hoping for.
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday would have been a nightmare of emotions for them, that emotional roller coaster. And today, when they've received their results, that would be just confirmation of their hard work and them being able to celebrate their successes. And then they would just naturally get in touch with their universities, confirm their offerings, or again, knowing that they have either those unconditional offers or securing those places beforehand, having the opportunity to bask in their success and enjoy those results, and planning for the next step in terms of moving to those universities or what that actually looks like.
And where are some of your students heading this year?
Some students are heading to top 8 universities in the UK. We have some students who are staying locally within the UAE, fantastic universities here, and some students who are heading to universities across Europe. So a range of universities, and congratulations again to those students.
And of course, I think it's really easy to think that kids who are doing British curriculum exams are probably headed to British universities. But increasingly, that's not necessarily the case, is it? How much are those kind of European destinations coming to the fore now with your students?
Global universities are becoming very attractive. They're very, very attractive for various reasons. The courses that they offer, the propositions that they offer, or the facilities that they offer. And some students take to that better than just having some understanding of what potential UK universities traditionally offer. So there's a wide range of university offerings, and those students are exploring those options, which is great to see.
And of course, when exploring those options, not every young person has managed to do that to the point that they knew going into today where they were going. You know, there are some students who will have had unconditional offers, but a lot of students also get conditional offers where today is the point where they know the results that they've got and what opportunities are open to them. So I think, you know, it's easy to think of a school as preparing kids for exams and up to this point, but your role doesn't stop, does it? What are you doing from today onwards to support those kids who maybe now are weighing up a number of conditional offers and choices and what might be open to them now that they've got their results?
Absolutely. And for those students, that becomes a different story, becomes a different picture. And Plan A might not necessarily be Plan A anymore. It might be Plan B and Plan C, and those plans are absolutely fine. But it's for us to be able to support them early on to manage those expectations, but also plan in terms of what is it that they now have the opportunity to do and explore, but also making sure that the students seek out to their schools, their careers counsellors, their guidance counsellors, and also the universities to see what pathways are available to them, because it might not necessarily be that the expectation of that university still is with them having to achieve those grades that they were conditionally offered. They may be able to negotiate and have that conversation with them and hopefully still offer them a place with the grades that they received.
And I mean, on that note, for those young people who didn't necessarily get the grades that they were hoping for or that they've got conditional offers for, there's not a lot of time to kind of take stock or lick your wounds, is there? That clearing process that's happening now, it's happening now. It's very quick off the back and people have got to be quite reactive. And I wonder, how do you help students get through that process if they've not quite gotten to where they were hoping to get?
I mean, this 24 hours is intense, and the next 48 hours for those students is very, very intense. It's very fast paced, and it's about making sure that they have the necessary contact details and the right go-to person to be able to have those meaningful conversations and be able to plan out what the next steps are, but also being able to stop at the right time and just take a breath and pause and reflect and see what it is that they actually want to do for them to be able to move forward. And again, having those positive relationships at home and at school to provide that supportive environment that the students need at this moment in time.
And for parents who are listening, how would you advise them to go about supporting their kids today if they are in that position where the results have come, but there's still a degree of uncertainty about what comes next?
Again, those supportive conversations and just being able to stop and listen to what their child wants, what pathway they want to explore, and for them to be able to support that process in a very nice, calm manner that allows the student to be able to think with clarity. What you don't want to do is students to be able to rush into a decision where they haven't been informed properly, or there's a sense of urgency but not necessarily the clarity behind it, but to have that calmness and provide that calming environment and work through that process together, that they'll be able to get great success with that.
And at the other end of the spectrum, you were talking about the number of pupils who've exceeded their predicted grades. And I wonder, for kids who've maybe gotten results today that are really quite a lot better than they might have been expecting, do they kind of have to stick with the offers that they've got? Is there an opportunity for them to go, maybe I could get into that course that I'd discounted? What are the opportunities now if kids have done better than they expected?
So generally, students would stick with their choices because those are the choices that they have made. They've chosen necessarily that university and that pathway for a reason, because it's the course that they offer or it's in the location that they desire. But again, if they decide to actually, I want to change of pathway, they can get in contact with those universities and have that conversation with those universities to see if that's something that they can explore.
And as a school, how do you go about supporting students now? Because as you say, it's an incredibly intense kind of 24 to 48 hours now. You've got a lot of pupils. How do you ensure that you've got all of the support in place to be able to provide the information that all of them need? Because that's no small feat for the team.
Absolutely not. But that preparation comes beforehand as well, with the relevant staff members, the heads of Post 16, the progress leaders, the exams officers, the guidance counsellors. It comes with all of those things in preparation beforehand. However, even at this moment in time, it's having the right staff in the right place at the right time and being contactable. It's something that our staff and schools around the world would have those key professionals in place to be able to support those students and having those conversations to support them within the next 24 hours to 48 hours as they manage that process.
And it's really easy to think about this process as being just about the kids, just about the parents. But of course, for teachers, today's a huge moment as well. You've been working with some of these young people for years and years and years leading up to this point. And I wonder, what does it feel like as a teacher to get to this point and to see the kids that you've been working with potentially succeeding in such a huge way?
I mean, the night before never changes. It's there's no sleep for many teachers. The nights before, and definitely the night before. On the day, it's a huge weight off the shoulders, but also just that anticipation is now over, and having those tangible results in front of you and being able to celebrate those successes with the students is absolutely amazing. And one thing I really, really enjoy is when those students go off to their universities and they contact me or they contact teachers in 6 months, 12 months time, or come back to visit and just mention how they really enjoyed the process and that journey, and they give their thanks for the support along the way. It's just rewarding, and it just gives that sense of, it was all worth it in the end.
And it's really easy to focus, I think, as well on the sort of the A stars. But I wonder if there's any particular stories or experiences from your time teaching that really stand out to you. Because the real huge achievements are not always the A stars. Sometimes it's kids just really achieving more than might have been expected from them.
Absolutely. You see students as they go through the academic journey, they're quite insular, they're quite closed, they're quite reserved. But seeing them progress and develop as young people and young adults is is an amazing celebratory success in and of itself, which is fantastic. And we see that on a daily basis with students as well.
And so having seen that process and having seen how people can achieve and grow, I wonder what your kind of message to anyone today who is feeling a bit uncertain is, knowing what you know about what can still come in the future.
This is a chapter, and it's not the end of the chapter. It's a part of that bookmark in that chapter. They're on a journey, and that journey continues. For some, this opens the door to a new chapter. For some, this will be a continuation of the current chapter. And for some, this will be a rewriting of a potential story. But it's about being able to acknowledge that this is a milestone. It's a very important milestone, but it's a milestone nonetheless. And the journey continues. And to keep smiling, keep your heads up, and just know that you did the right thing all the way through. And now it's time to acknowledge, reflect, reset, and take that step into the next chapter.
Absolutely. Wise words indeed. That was Zareef Petkar. He is the assistant principal at Horizon International School. And we're going to be staying with A-level results day next and meeting a pupil who got his results today as well. But first up, it's time for the news headlines from the ARN News Centre.
Your ARN News.
The Arab League have condemned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu